No.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Zero Interest. This time we're looking at Death Parade, Episode 11, Memento Mori.
That phrase is so overused, and unsurprisingly, once again, fuck the original context, who cares? So, this episode had some problems, is how I'll phrase it, for various reasons. Um, First, let's do the easy bit, which is, Ginty, that's the red-haired dude's name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ginty. He is offering Girl's name has escaped me.
Mayu, I think.
Sure. He's offering her a deal that he will bring her dancer idol, I'll
Harada.
say. Yeah. He'll bring him back and let him go into the reincarnation cycle. But the girl has to go into the void in his place. Or there's another dude that she could send into the void, and they could both go into the reincarnation cycle.
Mm.
So who's this guy? Doesn't matter. What did he? You don't know. You don't get to know. It's this guy or it's you. Choose.
Are you willing to sacrifice the eternity of a random person you don't know for your own happiness?
And yeah. So she off screen chooses the other guy, apparently. I had to check the comments because it wasn't made abundantly clear. But yeah, she chooses the other guy and she gets into the lift with the Harada mannequin.
Yeah.
And they go down, and they go down, and they go into the void.
The elevator flips to go to void.
Yeah. And their hands are entwined as the mannequins go back to just being mannequins, and their little souls just kind of together, which is cute, but this whole thing has been such a waste of time and self-contradictory in the themes and messages of this particular series, because she had already been judged, like, pretty conclusively.
The problem with this part in particular is that I don't know if it was a problem with the adaptation or
It's not an adaptation.
Okay.
Neither of us bothered to check until now because we were both so sure it was an adaptation because of all the pacing problems and everything.
Yeah.
There was an OVA in 2013, and then there was this series. That's it.
Yeah. So the problem is they never initially showed the judgment of these two. We only later found out that Harada apparently went to the void, but they never showed that happening. And that's the problem with the kind of ambiguous tone this show ends up going for more often than not. And it just creates a lot of confusion, a lot of problems.
I was more going with just the basic conceit of, okay, we have people play a game, and how they act during the game with incredibly high stakes is how we judge them in collaboration with the memories of how they lived their lives, the Cliff Notes version. And she actually acquitted herself quite well. Her memories were pretty clean, if obsessive, but not to a dangerous degree. And then when it came to a decision between sacrificing her own life or sacrificing someone she cared about, she sacrificed herself. That's a pretty conclusive judgment right there, but they decided to extend it out for several episodes, with her doing basically nothing for all of them, and then do a second judgment for her. not for the other guy, just for her, for reasons that they don't really tell us, so that she could do the same thing again, but change the context slightly. Which seems like they were going for, hey, this system is super flawed and everything.
I was
But
under the
it's
opinion that
not
she
that
had.
flawed, though.
I was under the opinion that she had sacrificed the life of the stranger, and that was why they both went down to the void.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, so it was a case of like, here's the thing,
They
right?
gave her a second test. They haven't done that for pretty much anyone else. Just
I
her.
believe I believe what they were going for, and I'm just saying what they're going for. I'm not saying it's good, but what they were going for was they wanted a contrast between Ginty and Decking because they're both doing a trial. They're both going to be judging somebody who is by themselves and is a girl and is, yeah. But the problem is that it falls apart in this case because the circumstances are so wildly different that that comparison can't work.
Not to mention kind of contrived, because why is just a question that hangs over this whole thing. For why is this here in terms of the rules and the setting? This didn't belong here. But yeah, they have a talk about philosophy and the meaning of life before she goes, because this show wants to delve into that particular philosophy
Ginty
101 chestnut.
Ginty asks, if you didn't have Harada in your life, what would be the meaning of your life? And she just says, I don't know. Does there even need to be a meaning? And that's
And
he's like,
he's like, another idiot human that doesn't know. And she's like, well, what's the meaning of your life? And he's like, I'm an arbiter. That's what I do. And they're kind of both idiots, because they both have meanings that they've ascribed to their own lives, kind of.
well, he had said, you know, what was the meaning of your life without Harada? And she had not quite, she didn't know. That was too big of a question for her to ask in that moment, or to answer in that moment. But I think there's supposed to be a contrast of, again, I'm trying to parse what the show is trying to say, of the idea that humans in general don't ascribe their life to one particular meaning or something, but I don't know.
Yeah, here's the thing. This show isn't trying to say anything. It's what probably an art house scholar would call, it's a meditation on death and judgment of people. That's it. It just wants to talk about stuff without actually having any answers, or particularly wanting any answers. It's just, here's things that happen that might be
You
ascribed
saying
to certain
meditation.
meanings.
Just
Yeah.
saying meditation on that just sent a shiver down my spine of,
Yeah.
oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
Because it's right.
Mm.
That was the word. Yeah. So also in this episode, assistant Chiyuki gets to ice skate.
Yeah, the ice
And-
skating, the book about Chavo and everything made her inspired to want to be an ice. I'm just going to cliff note this. She does ice skating, and Dekim does the whole puppeting people to give her a soundtrack and applause from the peanut gallery. And she gets all of her memories back of the Chavo book inspired her to be an ice skater, and she was really, really good at it. She remembers learning about it and her parents being so proud of her, and she won some
I actually-
competitions and stuff.
I want to comment on this scene in particular because I do actually really like this scene because I think it does some nice visual storytelling, and I think that the actual ice skating is animated well.
I would have loved to have
plus the
seen
soundtrack.
it, but Funimation's player is absolute hot fucking garbage, so it kept hanging
Oh.
every couple of seconds.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I was watching it on Verve, and that seemed to have a pretty solid player that was working for me. But The animation is really good, combined with the music. I thought it was just a very good example of visual storytelling,
Mm.
uh, which is something that I feel like anime as a whole should do more with, uh, of this visual storytelling. And the basic premise is she got inspired to ice skate. She loved ice skating, it was her passion. She made a lot of friends, but over time, she gradually became separated from those friends as she won more and more. Yeah, there.
Yep.
Hold on. There's a bit where she is quite literally sitting alone and is sad in the visual in the part, and you can see that the friends on the bench are starting to look away, and then she's alone, but she's
Oh,
still loving ice skating. She still has ice skating.
I might have missed that bit because of, as mentioned.
Yeah, the unfortunate of having a not very good way to watch this is just you end up
Yes,
missing some things.
Funimation, you are no longer beholden to the Crunchyroll. I was going to say gods, but that's really way too complimentary. Yeah, fix your shit.
Yeah, go watch on Verve. Verve is fine.
I can't.
Um,
That's not in England yet because
darn
fuck
it.
me. You know,
Yeah.
Masako X will, plug it on his channel and everything, sponsor it. This is so great. I use it all the time, even though I live in England where it's a service that doesn't exist yet. Asshole.
um, but as she's skating, she then has a quick flash of memory as she remembers what happened was, she had ice skating. That was all she had left. But then she gets an injury, a knee injury. And as a result of that, she can no longer ice skate.
Hmm.
And it was something that she'd been working for her entire life. And it was the only thing that she'd been focusing on, really. And without it, she ended up just empty.
Hmm. And
And
she
yeah,
she's explaining this to Dekim of what actually happened, which was she loved ice skating and everything, but it wasn't the only thing in her life. She had friends and family and all that stuff, but once the ice skating was gone, she realized even more how shallow and empty those relationships were, and everyone was actually basically strangers. Um, so in the end, she killed herself. And my big problem with this is that it's inconsistent.
how so?
Because 2 episodes ago, uh, Chiyuki, the attendant, was so passionate in her understanding of people and how they work, and so sure of her judgments of how people work and relationships and the darkness within people, that she railed against the arbiter of judgment for all of humanity. It's puffing it up a little bit, but that's what she did. And it turns out she doesn't have any experience, apparently, that would inform such passion and indignation
Well, you
of
have
why she would react that strongly about it. Other than circumstantial, it was a high tension kind of moment, but
it was a high tension moment. She had no memory, so she had literally nothing to draw on to begin with. So it wasn't a case where she was trying to draw on her own experiences. It was a case where she was trying to
well,
show empathy.
here's the thing. That's the thing with losing your memory. It doesn't like if people actually lost all of their memory, that would mean they couldn't read or write, they couldn't speak, yada yada yada. They wouldn't be anywhere even close to the same person they are
Hmm.
because their experience don't inform their actions anymore. But that's not how amnesia or memory loss works. You still have the experience that informs all of your actions, you just don't really have a clear understanding why. This should have been giving us that understanding why she was so passionate and so strongly emphatic about how stupid people are and how simple they are, but uh, that she would keep punching Dekim even after the judgment was done and they'd actually left. that it didn't even do that. It's just she's the tragic
People
athlete
being
archetype, and
the thing about people being stupid and simple was something that she felt towards herself. It's kind of in that context because that's how she feels towards herself, in that she is stupid and simple because she only had ice skating, and without it, she was basically nothing. And that's kind of what I'm trying to get at. Is I think that it was a case where a lot of her arguments were focused more towards herself than towards the other people around her, and she was drawing on her own experiences of what she thinks of herself, even maybe subconsciously.
okay.
But I don't think she was an expert on relationships and everything. She never specified that she was, and she never gave the indication that she was.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That kind of clears it up a little bit. I might put forward the argument that um, even then she focused that inwardly rather than outwardly, like the guy, the shut-in guy, abuse victim. Like even when she was pushed to the breaking point, she lashed out inward and hurt
Yes.
herself and not anyone else, which says a lot about her. Which is actually a point in favor of the judgment system because that's what it apparently is judging people on. But that would take more self-awareness and conscious thought and examination of the circumstances that she probably wasn't doing when she didn't remember anything. So yeah, okay, fair enough.
Um, yeah, you kind of cut out for me for a second, so I kind of missed the end of what you were saying.
Uh, she didn't have the self-awareness or conscious thought and examination of what she had been doing that she would have thought that deeply about it, especially when she had lost her memories. So she wouldn't have had the experience and be able to examine that experience to understand why she was projecting that on those people in episode 9. So that's it's probably fine.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's stuff to unpack here,
Not really.
but there's stuff that we've been kind of discussing. But
Yeah, I mean,
my point,
you can. There's things we can talk about, but there's not actually that much to unpack. It's
yeah,
pretty
wording,
straightforward.
phrasing, yeah.
Yeah.
But Deckim says, "Hey, I I'm still trying to get the hang of these emotion thingies, and I'd like to know a bit more about you, if that's all right." And
Oh yeah, because she said people are kind of shit and relationships are bullshit, and it doesn't matter because you're never going to know someone perfectly. And Deckim is like, I would like to know you perfectly, but for now I'll settle for knowing you better,
mhm,
kind of thing, which is a nice thing to say and correct.
yeah.
Like, I don't know what the hell she's talking about, but he's pretty sensible about it.
Mhm.
So they have one last drink. Pretty solid judgment. She's probably going to the reincarnation cycle, and that's all fine. And he gives her a memento mori, which means remember you will die. Technically, it means remember you're still mortal, but yes.
Mhm.
And also, it's a thing that an attendant would say to an emperor because he's getting all this adulation and he needs to be reminded that he's still a person and will die one day. But, you know, original context and meaning and understanding of words is just not important. So instead, he decides it means. What did he decide it means?
Something like live life to its fullest.
Yeah,
Can't remember.
some hokey crap like that. Yeah. Um, so he decides that's what I think it should mean, and she has the drink, and it was Rufi Colada. So
Goofy!
yeah, that's great. Family Guy joke. And she's in the lift, and he's stringing her up for some reason. And we have a scene with Nona and the big cheese, and he's like, "You've been a bad girl," and she's like, and I don't care.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't understand where this is going with this because that was a pretty cut and dry judgment there.
It's not the judgment.
Okay, so Deckham's being stupid. Cool. Okay.
It's remember how I said that they were trying to compare Ginty and Dekim? She's gonna get a different judgment that doesn't have anything to do with a game. So yeah.
Sure, whatever. I'm ready to be done with this show. One more episode and we're done. So much promise. So much promise.
It's like I realized, like I learned. Okay, yeah. So as it turns out, this was an anime original type thing, right? So
Yep.
I feel like there's something we're missing. Like there has to be some supplementary material or something
Maybe.
because
but
it just can't.
All Wikipedia had was the 25-minute OVA, which was Death Billiards. That was it. Released 2 years before this was.
For the longest time, I felt like it had to have some sort of like source material or something that was adapting because there were too many strange cuts.
I mean, I
There was
can
a lack
double
of.
check, but you know, keep talking, dude. You got a vamp.
But like I can't believe that there was no manga or anything because it just seems so odd to me. Like, because I remember there was the OVA, but 12 episodes. I feel like you could have given it 24 episodes and made it into a very good show.
Yep.
It would still have.
It's all there was.
I think it would still have some problems if it was a longer show, but we could at least get more stories from the various characters. We could space out a lot of the, backyard baseball type stuff, inside baseball. We could just right. I can't remember the term. Well, I'm glad to be comic relief, but we could have spaced out the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
We could have had more stories, and we could have had more development of the concepts they wanted to discuss with this show. I think it tried to do a lot in 12 episodes, and as a result, it didn't do anything particularly well. It spread itself thin, and as a result, we got fewer stories than we could have had normally. And I feel like if we had every episode had a story and then background stuff, that would have been a way better way to go with the show.
Yeah. So, one more. Uno más.
One more, then Casey can stop being depressed.
Well, once we do the next episode, like immediately after we've done recording that, I've got NaNoWriMo to do. And that's going to be interesting. 50,000 words in a month. It's going to be fun. So this show is probably going to take a break after that for a little bit. So I have more time to do that. So we'll see how that goes.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Also, I need to figure out what I'd be doing for the next series. It's kind of important, because I don't know.